Now we know there's all kinds of views on the end times. I mean, Revelation is a difficult book. It's much of it's symbolic, and it gets interpreted in many different ways. And many, people who love God and love the Word can disagree about these things. So I guess you're always kind of entering into choppy waters when you venture your opinion. But you're not afraid to shy away from some of the harder things. You talk about beginning one of the most debated, I guess, issues about end times is concerning the rapture and the timing of the rapture and the tribulation, and will God's people go through the tribulation?
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, thank you for asking me that. That is a tough question. Of course, I don't mind answering it. It's not tough for me. But I give deference to all the different views. First of all, let me say that, and then I'll answer your question directly. The reason I give deference is because I don't want to be so arrogant and vain to say, look, I've got all this figured out, and I'm 100% correct. I mean, that was the mistake the Pharisees made when they put Jesus on the cross. He told him, he said, it's amazing. You can tell the signs of the weather by looking into the skies, but you don't even know the signs of the times in which you live. Another word he meant was, in the name of God, thinking they were doing God a favor, they crucified the Son of God outside the temple of God because he didn't fit into their boxed-in little view of eschatology. They had it all figured out when Messiah was coming, what he was supposed to look like, what he was supposed to do. They had their charts, their graphs, their maps. They sat around and argued with each other. And then Messiah did come, and they missed him. You guys understand that?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the reason I try to give deference. Now, I'm just going to say this, and then you can ask me anything else you'd like. Here's where I stand. I stand with what Jesus clearly said in Luke chapter 17. He said, the coming of the Son of Man will be like it was in the days of Noah. They were eating, drinking, marrying, given into marriage until the time they went into the ark, and then the floods came. And like the days of Lot, when God poured out his wrath upon that place. But before he did, he sent angels to get the people out. And Jesus said, it'll be just like this. The coming of the Son of Man will be just like this. Well, when you look at the days of Noah and the days of Lot, guys, there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it. The picture, the typology is clear. Noah and his family lived in terrible times, tough times, times of great tribulation, distress, trouble. That's what tribulation means. Right up until the time God was ready to pour out his wrath, which of course was the flood. But prior to the wrath being poured out, even though they lived in tribulation, but see, here's the key. God took care of them. Not a hair on their head was harmed. He took care of them, but the world around them was coming apart at the seams. But before God poured out his wrath, he raptured out. He took out. He protected his children. He put them in the ark and brought them up above his wrath. The same scenario with Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah. They lived in the midst of the most vile wickedness. Peter talks about it in 2 Peter. He said Lot was vexed in his righteous heart at all the wickedness in which he was immersed and his family had to endure. But prior to God burning the place down and covering it up forever, hellfire and brimstone, he sent angels into Sodom and Gomorrah to do what? To take his people out. It's kind of a picture of the rapture, if you will. Now, that's what Jesus said, guys. So I know all of the debates. I know all the isms and schisms and the fractures of each debate and all the different denominations that come around the debates. But I keep it simple. I just proclaim. I don't have every jot and tittle figured out. I don't have the charts and the graphs and the maps. But I know what Jesus said. He said it'll be just like this. And when you examine those two scenarios, I think it's pretty clear how it's all going to kind of fold out. So what I'm trying to do is just prepare the church and prepare Christians for the possibility of some tough times. And I think the church in America, by and large, there are many exceptions, but by and large, I think we've been pretty fat and happy and sleeping and fighting over the color of carpet in the sanctuary more than worrying about the salvation of souls around the world and some tough times coming.